This is Dave, and I'm here with Ethan, and together we are Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, episode 255-inch.
On this episode, we pause our interview with Mike Sultan to celebrate Dr. Demento and share stories from his 84th birthday celebration and other Weird Al-related fun we had on our recent trip to California.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
It's a podcast about Weird Al.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Seriously, the whole podcast is about Weird
It's
Al.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
You don't have to listen, but we're glad you are.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Hello, Ethan, and welcome to episode 255-inch.
Thank you, Dave, and happy episode 255-inch to you.
First up, we do want to mention that we will not be airing part 3 of our interview with the incredible Mike Sultan this episode.
Wait, can we do that?
I think we just did.
Oh, true. Fair enough. I forgot we make the rules around here.
Okay, now we promise that we will be back with part 3 of our interview with Mike Sultan on the next episode.
We promise. But we also promise that maybe we won't.
All right, now since it's been basically a month since our last episode, we instead wanted to use this episode to catch everyone up on some exciting Weird Al related news that's happened since our last episode dropped and fill you all in on our recent trip to California.
But don't worry, we think part 3 of our interview with Mike Sultan is worth the wait. Mike shares some incredible and never-before-heard stories about Weird Al, and we dig even deeper with him in the interview next episode.
And as a little nugget of excitement to thank you for bearing with us, here's a tease of something exciting to look forward to.
Yes, during a remaining part of the Mike Sultan interview, we will be premiering clips of extremely rare Weird Al audio that Mike shared with us.
Our minds were absolutely blown when we heard it. It's really pretty stinking majestic, and we know you will love it too. We cannot wait for you to hear it.
Well, technically, we can wait for you to hear it, since we are literally making you wait at least another episode to hear it.
You know what I meant. It's totally worth the wait.
Okay, definitely worth the wait. And we'll definitely have it for you next episode. Unless we decide to go back to California between now and then.
Okay, now before we jump into the news, we did want to just address how, there haven't been as many episodes of the podcast lately as we had regularly released in the first 5 years of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Well, we're working on that. Trust us. We hope to soon get back to as close as we can to weekly or nearly weekly inch episodes, and we'll also have tons of bonus centimeter episodes as the Bigger and Weirder tour kicks off and we start attending those shows.
Thanks for bearing with us as the non-Weird Al related parts of our lives have interfered with our ability to create and celebrate Weird Al in podcast form.
And while yes, our actual lives and responsibilities have interfered with the release schedule, we hope you understand that above all else, it's our intern Frank that is ultimately to blame.
I hate that guy!
We hate intern Frank!
Well, on that note, let's dive right into what's happening in Dr. Demento related news.
What? We usually start with what's happening in Weird Al related news, Dave. What's going on? Have we changed our name and format to Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Dr. Demento podcast?
No. It's still Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, but we are going to talk about Dr. Demento a lot this episode, so just go with it.
Okay, sounds good. Past guest of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast and all-around pretty stinking majestic guy, Dr. Demento, celebrated his 84th birthday earlier this month on April 2nd.
Hooray!
If you're listening to our podcast, then we don't have to tell you who Dr. Demento is.
But for the benefit of those who are not listening, he is the radio DJ who helped launch Weird Al's career.
And he's a member of the Radio Hall of Fame and a world-renowned record collector and music historian.
Absolutely. And he has been hosting the Dr. Demento Show for over 55 years.
But most importantly, Dr. Demento was our guest on Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, episode 52-inch.
From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, and from all the Dementites and Dementoids worldwide, happy birthday, Dr. Demento. And always remember to stay demented. That's 84 A's.
84 years young. Incredible!
And such an inspiration to us and so many people.
Now, I'm sure he appreciates this shout out on the podcast and these birthday wishes, but I really wish there was a way we could wish him a happy birthday in person some way.
Ah, a little foreshadowing for what's to come later in this episode, maybe. Anyway, that sounds like a great idea. I really hope intern Frank can make it happen.
Dr. Demento spent his actual birthday, April 2nd, at a special celebration in his honor at the Los Angeles Breakfast Club. It was a sold-out event attended by friends and fans alike of the great doctor.
During the event, a number of surprise videos were played from comedy music icons and other celebrities wishing Dr. Demento a happy birthday and congratulating him for his induction into the storied LA institution.
Some of these incredible videos included ones from Weird Al Yankovic, Michael McKean and Bob Odenkirk, and even Patton Oswalt.
But most importantly, one of the videos featured our very own Ethan Allman, who went on to introduce two amazing guys from Whose Line Is It Anyway, Brad Sherwood and Colin Mockery.
It was a ton of fun recording and improvising the shout out with Colin and Brad, and what a nice consolation since none of us could actually attend the event. I wish I could have been there, Dave.
Yeah, well, from all reports that we've seen, it was a very well-received video and so cool of you guys to do. So thank you to you, Brad, and Colin for taking time out of your busy schedules to get that recorded.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's not like we had anything else going on.
And speaking of Dr. Demento, the March 29th episode of the Dr. Demento Show debuted a live Weird Al recording from all the way back in 1982.
Yes, the song is Weird Al's version of Happy Birthday and came from a performance from October 16th, 1982.
Now, Weird Al's performance was part of a live Dr. Demento appearance that also featured Benny Bell and others.
Dr. Demento has previously aired Benny Bell performing Shaving Cream from this event, but this is the first time that anyone got to hear the recording of Weird Al.
Pretty stinking majestic. You can stream the episode right now over at drdemento.com.
And if that's not enough Dr. Demento content for one episode, well, here's something else.
Your Friend Logan, the documentary all about musician Logan Whitehurst, is finally completed and available for pre-order.
And if you recall, back when Dr. Demento was on our podcast, he actually spoke very highly of Logan Whitehurst. So we cannot wait to learn more about his story.
In addition to Dr. Demento, past guests of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, Insane Ian and Weird Al Yankovic, among others, also appear in the documentary.
Now, even if you backed their crowdfunding campaign and are receiving a copy of the film, our friends over at Needle Juice are taking pre-orders for the DVD, Blu-ray, and a limited edition VHS. So don't forget to go over there and grab those extra editions.
The items are expected to ship in August, and for more information, head on over to needlejuicerecords.com.
Okay, now with what's happening in Dr. Demento related news out of the way, and I don't think we'll talk about Dr. Demento again this whole episode, let's move on to what's happening in Weird Al related news!
Oh, well, okay. I guess what's happening in Weird Al related news is going to have to just wait a little bit longer, as that sound means we have a call on the 347 Spatula hotline, the official hotline of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
All right, intern Frank, I guess play that message.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Ethan. It's Kenneth. You know, since the Collector's Call Weird Al episode aired, I have received hundreds of messages from Al fans sharing their collection and how they were inspired to get them out of the closet and set them up somewhere so they can be enjoyed. I just wanted to thank all those of you who sent me messages. Loved hearing from you. I think putting out anything you have of a collection is really important because it brings back those really bodacious memories that you have. And there's no one better out there than Weird Al fans. They are the best. And Dave and Ethan, you guys are the best too. Thank you for all you do for the fandom. Anyway, I gotta go finish my Twinkie. Talk to you later. Bye.
Kenneth, thank you so much for the call. That is so sweet, and I am so happy to hear that you are hearing from Weird Al fans across the globe and inspiring them to display their collections.
Yeah, and I was inspired by you, Kenneth, to not only display my collection in one room in my house, but 2 rooms, and then 3 rooms, and then 4 rooms, and, well, I'm going to need to buy a new house.
And if you weren't aware, our very own Kenneth Crazy Ken Gwinnett, he recently appeared on yet another episode of Collector's Call on MeTV.
That's right. On the special Sunday, March 30th Collector's Recall episode, Kenneth shared a quick update on his bodacious Weird Al collection.
Now, Kenneth chose to show off his super rare vinyl single from Egypt, which, in an homage to Al TV, he promptly threw across the room, shattering it into a million pieces.
Now, of course, Kenneth was joking because he would never harm a Weird Al vinyl record, but he then went on to show off his brand new Alapalooza gold record.
While they didn't mention it on the show, Kenneth let us know that the name listed on the gold record is from a former Scotti Brothers executive. How pretty stinking bodacious!
Okay. Now I think we can officially start what's happening in Weird Al related news.
Weird Al made his debut. Okay, I guess not. Looks like we're doing this again, Dave.
Okay, well, that sound once again means we have a call on the 347 Spatula hotline. So let's hear this call, intern Frank.
Hey, Dave and Ethan, it's your close personal friend, Jason Alchol, the special guest from episode 47-inch, which was many inches ago. I know I don't call enough, but I was so irate with your intern Frank, I just had to call in. I told him a few weeks ago that I had this idea for a new segment on your podcast called What's Happening in Penn Jillette and Weird Al Related News. Your podcast is great, but obviously been missing this. So he loved the idea and promised me that he was going to make it happen last week. Joke's on me, I guess, because he knew that you weren't making a new episode. So why did he lie? I'm assuming it's just his usual incompetence. So I figured I'd just surpass him and go right to the Spatula hotline and make this episode historic as starting the first ever What's Happening in Penn Jillette and Weird Al Related News. So you're welcome. Anyhow, if you don't know, Penn Jillette is Penn from the awesome magician duo Penn and Teller. Since we had a week or so off from your podcast, I was listening to Penn's podcast called Penn Sunday School, which I highly recommend listening to after you listen to this one, of course. On last week's episode titled He Just Stood There Saying Oh Dear, at about the 7-minute 30 mark, Penn talks about how he just filmed a cameo in a movie with Weird Al. Apparently, it's a short scene, because that's what a cameo is. We're there together, and Penn is in a golf cart with Al, and Al has a few lines. He never really says what the movie is, but I'm assuming it's something amazing and has something to do maybe with a pistol without clothes on, maybe. I don't know. Anyhow, check it out, because Penn goes on and on, like everyone else, about how awesome Al is. I won't spoil it. Well, I guess I already did, but seriously, check it out. Okay, history's been made.
Wow, great catch, Jason. Thank you for the call. Hey, Dave, don't you listen to Penn's Sunday School?
I do, but I will admit that I'm a little behind on my podcast, but thanks to Jason's heads up, I did queue up the episode and listen, and I must echo Jason's sentiments. Penn really spoke highly of Weird Al.
That is so cool. So did Penn actually say the name of the movie that they were working on together?
No, Penn did not mention the name of the movie, but he is notorious for not being able to keep a secret. So I'm hoping he cracks on a future episode. Anyway, his description immediately made me think it must be for the new Naked Gun movie.
It totally makes sense since Weird Al is so closely tied to the Naked Gun franchise.
And of course, the Naked Gun movie is being directed by Akiva Schaffer, who portrayed Alice Cooper in Weird Al Yankovic Story, so there's another connection.
I mean, it's practically a given that Weird Al will be somehow involved. I would be wildly surprised if he's not in the movie. And I'll also riot and protest it.
Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Regardless, 2 of my favorite people, Penn Jillette and Weird Al Yankovic, are sharing the big screen together. What could be better?
I guess Weird Al making his debut at Coachella?
Yeah, like that would ever happen.
You're right. Okay, I say this cautiously. Can we please move on to what's happening in Weird Al related news?
Intern Frank, listen, if we get any more voicemails on the 347 Spatula hotline, please hold them off until later in the episode, will ya?
All right, in wow, I wasn't expecting that related news, Weird Al made his debut at Coachella 2025 on Saturday, April 12th.
Weird Al joined Yo Gabba Gabba for the final song of their set, a cover of The Muppets' Rainbow Connection.
Now, also on stage for the song were 2 times past guest of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, Portugal the Man, along with, of course, DJ Lance Rock, Thundercat, Bozo the Clown, Paul Williams, who co-wrote the song, plus guest puppets HR Puffinstuff, a Sleestack from Land of the Lost, Duo, the Duolingo Owl, I thought he was dead, Domo, the Cheer Bear from Care Bears, and Billy Bob from the Rock of Fire Explosion? Holy crap!
Yeah, like that would ever happen.
It did!
Oh my gosh, it did happen! Weird Al at Coachella. What could be better?
I mean, the only thing that I think could be better than Weird Al at Coachella is if Weird Al came back the following Saturday and did the same exact song with basically the same people.
Like that would ever happen.
In wow, I wasn't expecting that again related news, it did! Weird Al returned to Coachella 2025 on Saturday, April 19th, and once again joined Yo Gabba Gabba for the final song of their set, a cover of The Muppets' Rainbow Connection.
Whoa, Weird Al at Coachella twice? What could be better?
I think the only thing that could be better than Weird Al at Coachella twice is if Weird Al posted some cryptic video on his TikTok of himself in what looks to be a carnival of some sort, perhaps AI generated, in front of a lit up Weird Al sign.
Like that would ever happen.
Last week, Weird Al had a quite perplexing internet leak over on his TikTok profile, where he posted a video of himself in what looked like to be a carnival of some sort, perhaps AI generated, in front of a lit up Weird Al sign.
Incredible! Well, the caption simply said, "Wanna come to my carnival," with no further context.
We can only speculate at this point, but perhaps this is a clue for something to come.
Or maybe it's a teaser for something related to the upcoming Bigger and Weirder tour.
Or maybe Weird Al is just posting something to confuse us.
Well, nice work, Al. Because of this, we have intern Frank transcribing every single pixel from every single frame of the video, just in case there are any clues that we may have missed.
No, seriously, nice work, Al. We've been looking for a new menial, demeaning, and dehumanizing task for intern Frank as of late. This was perfect!
Well, in other internet-related news, after a brief period of voting last week, yesterday it was announced that Weird Al has won 2 Webby Awards for his work on Deja Vu But Worse, Biden vs. Trump featuring Weird Al Yankovic, with past guests of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, the Gregory Brothers.
Technically, yes! Deja Vu But Worse was nominated in the category Video and Film for Best Viral, Video Remixes, and Mashups 2025, and they won both the Webby Award in that category and were the People's Voice winner in that same category.
While that might seem a little confusing, all it really means is that the powers that be selected Deja Vu But Worse as the winner, and there also was a public poll to select another winner, and they won that too.
Well, hopefully, Weird Al and the Gregory Brothers will get actual Webby statuettes, as opposed to NFTs, which we all know are just about as useless as JPEGs to Helen Keller.
From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, congratulations to Weird Al and the Gregory Brothers on the amazing Webby Award wins.
In other music festival news, Weird Al's final TBA concert on the Bigger and Weirder tour has been announced. There's been some speculation that this would be the case, but Weird Al will officially be part of Riot Fest in Douglas Park, Chicago. Tickets are on sale now at riotfest.org, and the festival runs from September 19th through the 21st. Now, while they haven't officially announced when the Weird Al performance will be, our best guess is that it's going to be on September 19th, since he's got concerts in Nashville, Tennessee on September 20th and Atlanta, Georgia on the 21st. So while you chew on that, let me also mention that Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh, creators of Phineas and Ferb, posted a video that got a little weird.
Now, we can only speculate at this point, but the video certainly implies that Weird Al may be involved in the new season of Phineas and Ferb.
And with Weird Al's recent post about working with Sabrina Carpenter on Milo Murphy's Law with Dan and Jeff, we can only wonder if their characters Milo and Melissa will show up in this new season.
And earlier this week, there was a special screening of UHF in Albany, New York.
What are the odds? And Dave, I swear, I had nothing to do with it.
Incredible that anything can happen in Albany, New York without you being involved with it. The Pine Hills branch of the Albany Public Library did a free screening of UHF as part of their Cinemania series.
Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the screening, and I'm just so bummed for so many reasons, mostly because it featured Aromavision.
The flyer says those who attended had, quote, the chance to discover and savor unique aromas by scratching special cards provided for the movie.
A rep from the library confirmed to us that they made these scratch and sniff cards themselves. They were not the ones from the Shout Factory 4K sets released last summer.
That's pretty stinking majestic. I wonder if the cards were able to accurately capture the repulsive and overwhelming smell of fish rotting for hours under hot studio lights that a few of our past guests described for the filming of Wheel of Fish.
We can only hope, Dave. And most of all, we can only hope that they accurately captured the smell of Al Capone's glove compartment.
Well, we have two quick Weird Al related television updates to share with you.
Well, first up, Weird Al appeared on The Simpsons yet again. Sort of.
During the closing credits for the March 30th episode, The Flanchies of Inner Simpson, Bart Simpson remixes all the biggest songs from the series, including Weird Al's performance of Brain Freeze.
What an awesome surprise to see Brain Freeze included, and it was a fun remix too.
Next up, Mighty Monster Wheelies has been renewed for Season 2.
As you know, Weird Al voices Mayor Van Helsing in this animated series, and new episodes are scheduled to air on Netflix globally on May 5th, 2025.
And attention collectors, here's another cool item for the collection.
There's a brand new variant of the Transformers the Movie original motion picture soundtrack album coming out on vinyl.
The special Unicron variant contains marbled gold vinyl and is limited to 4,000 individually numbered copies.
Now, of course, Weird Al's classic song Dare to Be Stupid appears on the soundtrack, and the vinyl is expected to ship in May. To pre-order, be sure to head over to @themoviesshop.com.
You know, I've always been a little puzzled as to why Dare to Be Stupid is on the soundtrack.
It's probably because it's in the movie.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Unlike this inside joke intern Frank put in the script just to amuse the two of us.
Attention listeners in and around Layton, Pennsylvania. The Mahoning Drive-In will be presenting a special screening of Weird Al's first movie, UHF, on Sunday, June 22nd.
Oh, that sounds pretty stinking majestic. Now, of course, Dave, we've seen UHF in the theaters and from the comfort of our own homes, but I don't think either of us has ever seen it from our car.
Well, Ethan, if you're thinking of driving there, they suggest that you arrive early for themed merchandise, raffles, and a live DJ set, plus more fun.
For more details on the screening and for tickets, head on over to mahoningdit.com.
Speaking of UHF, Amazon MGM has added a few more additional short clips from UHF to their YouTube channel.
The ideal way to watch UNHF! New clips include the Spatula City commercial featuring the voice of past guest of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, MG Kelly, and the Yappy Dog Treat skit featuring past guest David Bowe.
You can check out these clips, as well as other clips from UHF, on the Amazon MGM YouTube channel.
And unfortunately, we have some sad news to share. Prolific actor Val Kilmer passed away on April 1st at the age of 65.
Val got his big break portraying Nick Rivers in the 1984 comedy film Top Secret and went on to play many other incredible roles, including Batman.
Weird Al has mentioned on numerous occasions that Top Secret is his favorite movie of all time. And it's not hard to see the influence the film had on his work.
It's very likely that skeet surfing influenced Trigger Happy at least a little bit, and the backwards scene from the Swedish bookstore most likely influenced the backwards scene in the Amish Paradise music video.
Plus, Weird Al has gone on record saying that the song One More Minute is a style parody of Nick Rivers. You know, in turn doing a style parody of Elvis.
From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, Gil and chill in peace, Val Kilmer.
This episode is brought to you in part by Vegan Burrito Restaurant Burrito Burrito, home of the 2-pound double wrapped in quesadilla Burrito Burrito, and Wizard Burger in Albany, New York. Come on down to Burrito Burrito and Burrito Burrito, your Burrito Burrito and Wizard Burger for mouth-watering, loaded, dare I say, beefy vegan burgers. From Albany to Uranus, Burrito Burrito and Wizard Burger feed the hungry with out-of-this-world plant-based real food, always vegan style. Visit burritosquare.com and wizardburger.com to order ahead.
All right, let's check out what's happening in Grammy Award-winning Jim Kimo West related news. Grammy Award-winning Jim Kimo West's newest single, a slack key cover of Canada's national anthem, O Canada, is out right now.
You can purchase the track over on Kimo's website, or you can listen to it or purchase it from your favorite streaming service or online music store.
Kimo also teased that he has several collaboration releases coming this year, with details to follow soon.
For more information and all of the latest Jim Kimo West related news, you can also head over to jimkimowest.com.
And now it's time for what's happening in past guest of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast related news.
We're very excited to share that Tight and Nerdy, the feature-length documentary formerly called Showgals, that tells the story of the world's first burlesque troupe devoted to Weird Al Yankovic, has won an award.
The documentary has been awarded the Screencraft Film Fund Grant for 2025.
Out of nearly 1,000 submissions, both scripted and documentary, Tight and Nerdy was one of 3 winners, and the only of which to be a non-scripted project given a grant.
From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, congratulations to UH Jeff Nucera, Jonathan Ruane, and the Tight and Nerdy Burlesque Troupe.
For more information about the documentary and for information on how you can help support the film, head over to tightandnerdymovie.com or beartobestupid.com.
Your Mother, the band behind the late 90s Weird Al tribute album, The Weird Album, is now offering t-shirts with the album cover for sale.
Now, you may remember that we had Craig Billmeyer, the singer and lead guitarist for Your Mother, as well as world champion air guitarist, known by the name Hot Licks Houlihan, back on episode 46-inch of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Now, these shirts are really cool and worth picking up for your collection. For more details, hit up at Your Mother Band on Instagram.
I just got my shirts in the mail, and Dave, they're pretty stinking majestic.
Episode 201-inch guest, comedy writer Rob Kuttner, has a brand new book out right now.
It's titled The Jews, 5,000 Years and Counting, and it's packed with Jew facts, Jew figures, and the original never-before-seen documents from those who lived through Jewish history.
Rob is also the head writer for the independent animated series God's Gang, available right now on YouTube.
For more information on Rob's projects, head on over to robkuttner.com.
Meanwhile, you can pick up Rob's new book, as well as all of his other books, including Snot Goblins and Other Tasteless Tales, which was illustrated by David D. Grand, who contributed to the Polkamania music video, and includes a blurb from Weird Al himself on the back cover.
And now it's time for What's Happening in Close Personal Friends of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast related news.
Our close personal friends John Katz, Alexis Adams, and Alicia Bonviri designed commemorative pins to honor the memory of the irreplaceable Joe Jaffa, who sadly passed away last August.
Joe Jaffa was not only a passionate Weird Al fan and frequent contributor to Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, he was also a close friend of ours and a pretty stinking majestic guy.
We miss Joe dearly, and our hope is that Joe will be represented via these pins at each and every show on the Bigger and Weirder tour.
Dave and I already ordered our pins, so now it's time for you to order yours. They're only $4 each, and you can find out how to buy them by visiting the link that John shared over on our official Facebook group at group.2000inch.com.
Additionally, if you wish to donate to the Children's Tumor Foundation in Joe's memory, you can still do so by visiting tinyurl.com/Joe Jaffa. That's JoeJaffa.
And now it's time for What's Happening in Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast related news. Dave, the March Weirdness Tournament is complete, and Spy Hard, theme from the motion picture Spy Hard, took the title of Weird Al's Best Deep Cut.
Will King has tabulated everyone's scores based on all the submitted brackets, so we finally have a winner.
Drum roll, please, Bermuda!
Coming in first place with 74 points and 37 correct picks was Ethan Allman.
Yay! Woo!
Hold on a minute. That's not fair. A host of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast absolutely should not win this thing. People will say the tournament was rigged. I think you need to recuse yourself, Ethan, and give your prize to second place.
All right, Dave, I agree. It's the only fair thing to do, but I will take this time to just say thank you to all my supporters and my family, and most of all, thank you to Weird Al for creating all of these songs that came into this tournament. Anyway, okay, so let's see. Now that I recuse myself after giving my special speech, the second place winner with 64 points and also 37 correct picks would be Dave Elvis Rossi.
Yay! All right! Woohoo! I absolutely accept this honor and will wear my official Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast t-shirt from shop.2000inch.com proudly. From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, congratulations to me, the winner of March Weirdness 2025. Suck it, Ethan!
Dave, I think you need to recuse yourself too. That's not fair.
Oh, okay, fine. I reluctantly recuse myself. I guess the prize will just have to go to third place. Who's that?
Okay. Third place is William King.
Seriously? Will ran and organized the whole thing. I'm pretty sure he needs to recuse himself too.
For sure, totally. Well, Will, thank you so much for organizing and running the tournament, and congrats on technically taking third place. We're just going to send you a Gillenchillo from shop.2000inch.com just as a consolation. But ultimately, Dave, let's send the grand prize t-shirts from shop.2000inch.com to the next two highest scores. Unless it's intern Frank, in which case I quit.
Okay, that sounds like a good compromise. The next two highest scores are Ajax and Matt Horn, unless they somehow want to recuse themselves too.
Yay! From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, you know, the rightful winners of this contest, congratulations to Ajax and Matt! We hope you enjoy your official Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast t-shirts from shop.2000inch.com.
Well, with the news out of the way, Ethan, I think it's time we finally share all of our Weird Al related adventures from our recent trip to California.
Yes, Dave, it was so exciting. We all flew out on Friday, April 4th. I flew out from New York. You and special guest Jackie Rossi flew out from New Jersey, and we landed at LAX right around the same time. We got our rental car and we headed off to our Airbnb.
So we had a very packed schedule because that evening we had dinner plans for pizza and a movie at our friend UH Jeff and Chloe's house.
Chloe, of course, being his cat, and we were amazingly joined by ludicrous Lori McMillan, as well as her husband, Dr. Mike, plus the co-director and co-producer of Tight and Nerdy, Jonathan Ruane.
And now Jeff and Jonathan were extremely kind enough to let us see an almost completed screening of the film. And let me tell you, my reaction, this is the first time I've seen this documentary. And let me tell you, Ethan, it was incredibly well done and extremely entertaining. I actually learned quite a bit about all the girls of Tight and Nerdy. And you know what? They really bared their souls in this documentary. Overall, the documentary was very touching and of course, very funny. And I'm really excited to see the film again with all the bells and whistles on it. And I know everyone is absolutely going to love it. Very well done, Jeff and Jonathan.
And Dave, you know, this was actually my second time seeing the film. I may be the only person who's seen it twice outside of people who actually worked on it. So it was pretty synchronistic the second time. I did notice a couple tweaks here and there that were different from when I saw it a few months ago. And I think the most exciting part, Dave, I don't know if this is going to make it to the final cut. They did include a shot of me in the cut of the film. I really hope it stays in.
I hope it stays in too, because you really need to pad your IMDb just a little bit more. It was absolutely so much fun getting to hang out with everybody and watching the film. And Jeff even let us hear a little bit of the soundtrack, including some new tunes recorded just for the film by the incredible Summer Woods.
It was a blast. We had so much fun visiting with those guys. And before we left, Dave, you and I got a picture with the screen-used stunt accordion from Weird the Al Yankovic story. It was 2 screen-used people from the film with 1 screen-used prop. Pretty stinking majestic.
Yeah, it was so amazing to get to see that and hold that incredible stunt accordion. All right, now the main reason we were out there was for Saturday's event, Dr. Demento's 84th birthday party held at a restaurant in the greater LA area.
Now, even though this was a public establishment, it was not technically open to the public. It was a strictly invite-only event. So, Dave, you and I were absolutely honored to be included and invited to such a pretty stinking majestic event.
Yeah, now the guest list consisted of many amazing people that have been a part of the Dr. Demento show family over the years, including many of Dr. Demento's legendary sidekicks and talented artists and musicians whose songs have been played on the Dr. Demento shows over the years. Now, by the time we finally arrived, a majority of the guests were there, including Dr. Demento, and Ethan, I will admit, I was a bit overwhelmed at first as there was so much going on the second we walked through that door. So I want to apologize to anyone who was there that I may have seemed distant to, especially at the start of the party. I was still really overwhelmed and taking everything in.
There was a lot to take in. There was a great group of people, folks who I have either known for many years or knew of for many years. Some people who I've met a bunch of times. Some people I was meeting for the first time in person. There's just so much to talk about. I don't think we can really cover everything and how incredible this event was.
Oh, no, there's no way we can cover everything that went on. We would need 4-hour podcasts each to be able to cover these events. There was just so much going on. And you're right. It was so incredible. I mean, there were people there at this party that I have not seen in years and in several cases, even decades. And like you said, I've been meeting people for the first time ever. It was a lot for me to take in. I like to think I warmed up a little bit, but as the party went on, and certainly having plenty of Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al podcast stickers and wooden nickels to hand out was a great icebreaker.
I went up to some people and I was like, hey, you want a sticker? And they're like, oh, Dave already gave me stickers. So, you stole some of the thunder, Dave, but we did have some really cool stickers, and somehow a couple wooden nickels have survived all this time. But I think we're now literally on our last couple. So I don't know that they're really going to make it much longer.
I think I have less than 10 left, so the next 10 people who come up to me are going to be lucky enough to get a wooden nickel. And although it wasn't announced to any of us attending the party, and I certainly wasn't expecting him to be there, but Weird Al and his wife Suzanne stopped in for a little bit.
As soon as they walked in, of course, everyone was very excited and buzzing around. And luckily, I got to speak to Suzanne briefly. She had a rockin' brand new haircut. She said she just got it cut the day before. And I said, oh, was it Sean who cut your hair? She's like, yeah, of course. It was really cool. It was so nice to see both of them.
Yes, I saw Suzanne from a distance. She looked amazing. I didn't get a chance to talk to her, but I did have a really nice extended conversation with Weird Al. I felt like I talked for Al for like at least 15 minutes straight and uninterrupted, which was like mind-blowing. And as I'm talking to Weird Al, of course, Dr. Demento's sitting right there taking in every word that we said. So that was an incredibly special moment for me to have. I'm not going to go into details of our conversation, but there are a few things that I think are worth mentioning. Weird Al and I talked a little bit about some of the projects that he's been involved in recently. Of course, Weird Al was pretty tight-lipped about things, but we should hopefully be finding out about them soon. We also talked a little bit about the upcoming Bigger and Weirder tour. I'm very excited about that, and Al is too. And of course, the subject of Dave and Ethan's 2008 Weird Al podcast came up.
How could it not?
Right. And somewhere along the line, believe it or not, intern Frank's name came up.
Oh!
You'll never believe this, but Al mentioned that he liked intern Frank, which totally threw me for a curve because there's literally nothing likable about intern Frank.
I can only guess that he must be confusing intern Frank with another intern of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way he could possibly like intern Frank. Weird Al, I challenge you to spend even a few minutes alone with intern Frank, and I'm sure you'll change your opinion in no time.
In no time! Dave, it was so cool seeing Weird Al and Suzanne at this such an intimate and special event. And you could tell that it really meant a lot to Dr. Demento and everyone that was there. I didn't quite have a 15-minute one-on-one conversation with Al, but I did spend a lot of time chatting with Bermuda and Chemo, and did have a conversation with both Al and Chemo together. We got to talk about this really exciting musical that Chemo's working on that we have talked a little bit about on the podcast. So that was really cool to hear about how that's going and how that went. And of course, Bermuda, does not like to spill the beans on anything, but I did get some cool information about like when the rehearsals are starting. And I was really surprised to hear that everyone in the band has not necessarily even met some of these new members. So when they go to rehearsal, for some of them, it will be their first time meeting. So I thought that was really interesting, and it just got me so excited for the tour kicking off in June.
Now, Ethan, as you mentioned, we're not planning on talking about every conversation that we had that day because it would take us forever to do so. But I will say that we had a really great time hanging out, and it was so amazing to get to see and spend time with everyone.
Somehow, the 4 hours we were there didn't feel like enough. It was just so much fun. But back to the party. Every good birthday party has presents.
That's right. Eventually it came time for us to give Dr. Demento his presents. Now, this was a group collaboration from special guest Jackie Rossi, you, Ethan, and myself, as well as the entire Dave and Ethan's 2000s Weird Al podcast family.
Well, Dave, tell us about this amazing collectible that we got Dr. D.
Yeah, so you're familiar with Funko Pops, of course. Weird Al has one, and many of your favorite people have Funko Pops. Well, believe it or not, there actually is not a Dr. Demento Funko Pop.
Gasp!
I know, gasp. And we went out and we created our very own custom Funko Pop of Dr. Demento. It looks just like Dr. Demento with his glasses and a tuxedo, and he's even holding a microphone. And one thing that was missing was a top hat. So we actually managed to source a top hat from another unknown pop and put it on top of the pop. And I think it went over really well. Everyone who got to see the Funko really seemed to enjoy it, and I think Dr. Demento was certainly surprised at seeing it.
He was so thrilled by it, and everyone wanted pictures of it, and I think Funko.com should get ready for a bunch more Dr. Demento custom pops to get ordered.
It came out so amazing. I think I'm going to order one for my collection.
I have to too, Dave, and we have to figure out which Funko Pop that top hat was sawed off of from the guy on the internet who sold it to us, because I need one of those for mine too.
Oh, that top hat was amazing. I think it just sealed the whole deal. It was incredible.
Now, one thing we know is that Dr. Demento loves a good craft beer. He is a total expert when it comes to beer. So we thought we have to get him the most Dr. D related beer possible, and that is Weird Ale. WEIRDALE. Now, this is a special home microbrew by this guy, Mike Lanzafame. He lives in New Jersey, Dave, somewhere near you.
Oh,
and
nice.
He has a home brewing company called Binko Brewing. And I don't believe you can actually buy them anywhere. I don't think they're in stores or bars, but Mike just makes these really cool, different types of beer for himself and his friends and his family. And when he posted the Weird Al online a couple years ago, it just stuck in my mind. So we reached out to him, and while they're not available for sale, he agreed that Dr. Demento needed to be the one and only person to own some Weird Al. So he was able to get us some to give to Dr. Demento. Dr. D was so excited to try it, and we're hoping that he'll report back and let us know how it is. And it's apparently Red Ale, which is, I think, a really nice type of beer. So I just wish I had some to try, Dave.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you turn 84 years old, I will get you your own bottle of Weird Ale beer.
Oh, boy!
Yeah, I think Dr. Demento really was excited by that one. I'm thinking he was trying to open it up right there and drink it. He was ready.
And they were big bottles, too. This was not like a
they
little,
were
like,
big.
12-ounce bottle. It was like the size of a wine bottle, at least.
Yeah, now Dr. Demento got some other amazing gifts from other people there, and also some really cool gifts in the form of performances by some of the great performers and musicians in attendance. And let me tell you, these performances were a surprise to me, but they were really cool to see.
Now, everyone who performed were performing Dr. Demento related songs that they had written, which were pretty stinking majestic. Now, first up was a group collaboration. It was the Great Luke Ski, Insane Ian, Tony Goldmark, Shoebox from Warm Quartet, and Chris Mezzalesta from Power Salad. They teamed up to perform an updated version of the Great Luke Ski song, The Doctor and William.
Of course, all about Dr. Demento and Whimsical Will. And next up, Steve Goody performed He's Barry, He's Dr. D. And that was followed up by an amazing duet with Carla Ulbrich and Bill Larkin called Let's Get Demented.
And closing out the set was the incredible Sulu with her brand new song parody of a couple Jerry Samuels Napoleon XIV songs. Happy 84, Dr. D. We love you a lot. To us, you are still hot.
So many great performers, so many great performances. It was really special to be there. And after the performances, Dr. Demento was presented with his birthday cake, or should we say cakes, as the first one hilariously said, Happy Bat Mitzvah, Babs.
But the real cake was presented right after, and it had the most incredible parody artwork. It was a dead-on parody of the cover art from Alan Sherman's My Son the Folk Singer album.
Yes, this artwork, which had Dr. Demento replacing Alan and a birthday cake on fire, was titled My Son the Birthday Boy. And let me tell you, this artwork was so freaking cool.
And it was very tasty, Dave.
Yeah, it was very tasty. I had 2 pieces.
Now, after the party ended, everyone kind of split up and went their own ways. Some people went off and actually had a comedy music event featuring some of the guests of the performance. But Dave, you and I had an incredible opportunity to go see John Bermuda Schwartz perform with his cover band.
That's right. Bermuda plays drum for the Zero G Band, which is a cover band that plays at Taco Surf in Surfside, California about once a month, as well as other places, of course. He's been with the band like for 10 years at this point. They play all over the place. They've got a great following.
Oh, yeah. And we were so excited when we found out that Bermuda was doing a gig the same day when we were in that same area. So a small group of us decided that we had to go see them.
Yeah, we made the 30-minute drive so to see it. And let me tell you, Zero G Band did 3 sets of about 45 minutes each with a 15 to 20 minute break between the sets. And oh, they were really good. People were dancing out in the middle of the dance floor and everyone was singing along. It was like a wild party in there. They're really well done songs.
They did really great covers of all the songs. The band was solid. The singers were solid. And it was so great because, you know, there were a couple opportunities for us to chat with Bermuda throughout the night. And, you know, some of my favorite songs they played, Dave, were, of course, they did a couple songs that have shown up in like Weird Al polka medleys. But my favorite 2 were when they played I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett and My Sharona by The Knack. You know, Bermuda definitely knew the drum parts to both of those songs really well.
Yeah, you and I were fist pumping along to I Love Rocky Road, just like our characters, Tough Biker number 7 and Tough Biker number 8 did in Weird the Al Yankovic Story.
It was so much fun, and I hope others have an opportunity to see Bermuda and one of his side projects perform because he's just such a talented, such a wonderful guy. It was so much fun.
Sadly, that was the end of special guest Jackie Rossi and my adventure in California as we had a really early flight the next day and headed back to New Jersey. But Ethan, you stayed around for quite a while. Anything else exciting happen while I was flying back to New Jersey?
Oh, you missed some really fun stuff, Dave. So yes, I stayed for about another week because I had a show for work at the end of the week. And so I figured I would stick around in Los Angeles and do some meetings and do some work stuff. But of course, that meant I got to have some fun on the evenings. Now, first off, the night that you guys left, there was a special house concert party at Sulu's house. And I got to tell you all about it, Dave. I'm so bummed that you guys weren't there because it was really, truly pretty sinking majestic.
Yes, I'm very sad that I missed that because from the pictures and the videos that have been posted online, it looked incredible. And there's a lot of great performers there and a lot of great people that I wish I could see perform sometime.
Oh, it was so great, Dave. Let me just quickly tell you all about it. So I went to the party with Zeb and UH Jeff. We drove out together and there was just so much cool stuff. Sulu's got really awesome decorations and she had like a monkey statue and a tiger statue and awesome stuff. There was food and there were drinks and snacks. And most of the people who were there were folks that we saw at the party the day before. Of course, Dr. Demento was there and Musical Mike, and it was so cool, Dave. Now, it started off just kind of as a little bit of a mingle, and then it turned into the actual house concert. Now, once it was time for the concert to start, everyone got in some chairs in Sulu's living room, and there was a curtain set up and a stage and sound system. It was so cool. It was so legit. And Dave, oh my gosh, it was so great. The show opened with Warm Quartet, aka Shoebox, aka Tim Christ, and I had never seen him perform live before, and he totally made me a fan. I was so excited. He did some really great comedy songs. There was some good audience participation. Insane Ian and Devo Spice were part of the act. So much fun. Now, after Warm Quartet, the headliner of the show was Steve Goody, and he is an incredible comedy musician and parody musician, and he did a lot of really funny songs, and he's got videos that go along with him while he's singing, and he even did some parts from his amazing touring show that he started in Edinburgh called Al, the Weird Al Tribute, and how Daniel Radcliffe got mixed up in all this nonsense. I was so happy to finally see at least part of that live.
Yes, everything I've heard about Steve Goody, he puts on an amazing show, so I definitely would love to check that out someday.
Steve and I were talking after the show, and we're trying to put something together, so maybe we can put something together that you'll also be able to attend, Dave. More information on that later. Now, Dave, Steve has some really cool merchandise. Of course, he has a bunch of albums. He had an album that literally had just come out that day, and it featured the song that he had premiered at Dr. Demento's birthday party, He's Barry, He's Dr. D. So, of course, I picked up that, and I picked up a bunch of albums that I didn't have yet from him. And he even had a couple leftover shirts with that awesome logo, Al, the Weird Al Tribute, and how Daniel Radcliffe got mixed up in all this nonsense. So, Dave, of course, I got you some shirts. I got myself some shirts, and it was so cool. I also was able to get a couple CDs from my buddy Carrot Top of the Radioactive Chicken Heads, which was really cool. So I ended up missing a little bit of this since I was out getting some CDs with Carrot Top. But after the concert, there was an open mic to feature performances from a bunch of the guests who were there. So I missed some of it, but performing were Carla Albright, The Great Luke Ski, Jace McClain, Primordial Pouch, which is Kendra Shepard and Jace McClain. Insane Ian did a song, Devo Spice, Bill Larkin, and then there was also Power Salad, aka Chris Mezzalesta, Austin Ash Lemon, aka The Odd Ditties. Our friend Chuck did a song with Steve Goody, and then Sulu premiered a brand new song about the Looney Tunes, which was exciting because one of her friends who was at the party works for Looney Tunes. So a demented song about cartoons, it fit in perfectly with this party.
Wow, that concert sounds absolutely great. What a great lineup of performers. I'm so happy you got to see all them.
Dave, my favorite part was the grand finale. Dr. Demento himself, he got up and he sang Shaving Cream with the whole audience joining in for the chorus, which was like a dream come true to me. That was one of the very first demented songs I'd ever heard. Like, I would listen to that over and over again at my grandma's house when I was a kid. And I have so many great fond memories of Shaving Cream. So getting to sit in the audience of like 20 or so people and see Dr. Demento performing it was just incredible, Dave. And it was so cool because Dr. D was performing it, but also Bill Larkin was accompanying him on piano. Steve Goody was playing the accordion, and Power Salad was on guitar. So it was just so incredible.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. I've seen videos of that online, and what an incredible performance. Dr. Demento still has it.
He totally does. And he even, as part of the song, sang a brand new verse that Christopher Bay wrote about Dr. Demento himself. So it was very cool. We'll definitely have to share the video. and let people check it out because it truly was just a remarkable experience. Now, after Dr. Demento performed, that was technically the end of the open mic, but a little bit later in the night, before we headed out, there was a second open mic that started up. So some people who had already performed came back and performed. It was really exciting because our friend Chuck, she decided she wanted to perform the entirety of Albuquerque from memory. So I made sure to get over there. I went with Jeff Morris and we're like, all right, we got to see her perform it. And she got a little bit of the way through and then started to get a little bit stuck. But luckily, she was in a room with all comedy musicians and Weird Al superfans. So everyone joined in and helped finish the song. And St. Ian was up there and Jace joined in. And it was such a fun kind of community Weird Al experience.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing about this weekend, I gotta tell you. The community, the Weird Al community, the comedy music community, they are some of the nicest, most genuine people I've ever met. I mean, I think somebody mentioned this at the Dr. Demento birthday party, that if it wasn't for Dr. Demento creating this community, none of us would have probably been together in the room at that time. And I started thinking about it, and I met a majority of my friends, people that I've known for years, both online and offline, through the Weird Al community and the comedy music community, that I really have Dr. Demento to thank for all that. And of course, Ethan, you're part of that community. Without Dr. Demento, we probably never would have met.
Absolutely. I mean, it really all goes back to Dr. D. So we owe so much to him. So much of our joy and our fun in life has come from his show, inspiring Al, and then really gave him the courage and the exposure to turn it into a real career. And it's just so incredible. So I really was honored, Dave, that we got invited to this party and that we were able to attend. And it was just really a magical weekend.
I agree completely.
Now, Dave, you did go home and you missed the party, but like I said, I stayed for another week. So I had other stuff that I was doing and other people I was seeing, and I won't go into everything, but I will give you a couple Weird Al related highlights. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing. I can't wait to hear all about them.
So I got to see a really cool show. It's called the Benson Movie Interruption. It's the show that Doug Benson does where a panel of comedians sit in with microphones, kind of like Mystery Science Theater, and they talk over and make fun of a movie that is chosen by the audience. So it sounded like so much fun. I had to go to it. And who was on the panel but Patton Oswalt? He played Dr. Demento in Weird the Al Yankovic Story, the trailer, and he played our co-star in Weird the Al Yankovic Story, the movie. So it was very cool to see him. I'm a fan of his comedy, so I knew he was going to be there. So, Dave, I don't think we mentioned this, but they did have some extra Frisbees and balsa wood airplanes with Dr. Demento's name on it at the party, and they were encouraging us to take some. So I had an extra one. I thought, I'm going to give a Frisbee to Patton Oswalt because he played Dr. Demento. So I was able to give it to him after the show. I gave him some of our stickers, Dave, and he thought it was really cool. And he mentioned how he had recorded the video at the Breakfast Club thing. So it was very cool to get to connect with him. I don't think I'd ever met him in person before. So I thought that was a great experience to get to see him and say hi.
Well, I'm glad you had a good experience with Patton, and I hope you gave him instructions on how to use the Frisbee. I mean, all you really need to know is gotta pass.
That's right, Dave. Now, I also went to a show at the UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. It was a show called Soundtrack, and I went with none other than our great friend Isaiah Ferguson, who had done that incredible stop-motion fan-made music video for Weird Al's song My Bologna. So we went to the show together, and it was a really cool show where at the beginning of the show, they take some song suggestions. Anyone can write down songs on a piece of paper. And then during the show, they have a DJ who will just randomly play one of the songs that's suggested. And that will be the start for their improv scene. And it was very cool because Brian Husky and Jason Mantzoukas were two of the performers. I'm big fans of both of them. So we were very excited to go. And of course, Dave, Isaiah and I can't go to this type of event and not suggest Weird Al songs. So we submitted Eat It, Amish Paradise, and My Bologna. We're like, we're not going to go for deep cuts. Let's do ones that they may actually play if they get pulled. And unfortunately, they did not get pulled. But Jason Mantzoukas was very happy at the suggestion of My Bologna, because we did say that one verbally.
Very nice.
Now, it was really cool. I know at the party, Isaiah showed us some of his original artwork and, of course, the original Al puppet from the music video. But Dave, he brought me a prop from the music video he made.
Oh, no way. Awesome. Isaiah does amazing work, and he did bring, like you mentioned, he did bring the props to the party, and it was so cool to see them in person. So what did Isaiah give you?
Dave, it's not quite a Weird Al puppet or the framed picture of Dr. Demento, but you can't miss it if you watch his video. He gave me the rubber ducky that shows up on the fridge and a couple other places during the videos. It's this really cool, tiny little rubber duck. And of course, we took some pictures with it, and it was so cool to actually be holding a piece of his music video.
Pretty stinking majestic.
Now, after the show, it was very cool because we got to talk to Brian Husky, who was part of the show, and I'm a big fan of his work. But also, Dave, I'm sure you and our listeners will know him as one of the Scotty brothers, likely Ben, the role that was then played by Will Forte from the original Funny or Die Weird the Al Yankovic Story trailer. So that was really cool. Got to talk to him, got to talk about that briefly with him. And then by completely random chance, I also ran into Johnny Pemberton, who, Dave, is our co-star from the actual feature-length Weird the Al Yankovic Story. Johnny played Johnny Barf, the lead singer of Skunk Barf, and we talked about the movie and how we were co-stars, and we agreed that was definitely the best scene in the whole film. I think you'd agree with us too, Dave. And what's really cool is Johnny actually shares an office with Eric Appel, and he mentioned that to me, and I said, I think I knew that. Doesn't Eric have Hey Boy hanging on the wall? Yes, Johnny confirmed he does have Hey Boy on the wall. So that was very cool.
I'm such a big fan of his work, especially his work on Superstore, as well as all the other stuff he does. I'm extremely jealous you got to meet Johnny.
It was so cool. And like I said, like Brian, he was on the show, so it wasn't a big surprise that he was outside. But Johnny just was like walking by in the street, and I happened to recognize him. So that was very cool.
Well, Ethan, it sounds like you had an amazing time in California. I definitely had an amazing time in California the short time I was there. It was such a fun time. I'm so glad we got invited. I'm so glad we got to celebrate Dr. Demento's 84th birthday with him.
Now, Dave, Weird Al told us something very secret that he said we weren't allowed to say, so I'm just going to say it right now. It's... Oh, that noise means we've got a call on the 347 Spatula hotline. I guess we can't say that special thing, Weird Al said.
Ah, what a bummer. It would have been so mind-blowing to share with the world. Oh well, let's take a listen to this call.
Hey there, Dave and Ethan. It's your old pal Chris, the cartoon-loving geek from Canada. Well, as you know, Al's big tour is just a few more months away. But until then, we're going to celebrate something just as great, the Easter season. Now, before you ask, yes, I put my wacky cartooning skills to the test again and made another batch of festively funny Easter pics for the both of you. I mean, come on, you ought to know me by now. Well, anyways, to help me get inspired this year, I did something a little different. I shaved off one of my eyebrows, tore off one of my pant legs, put on a pair of bunny ears, and then dipped both of my arms into a vat of boiling hot melted chocolate. That was clearly a mistake because I was rushed to the hospital and treated for severe burns. Why I thought that was a good day is beyond me, but anyways, while I was there, they put me on this special pain-killing medication that made me hallucinate a little bit. In fact, I saw the both of you as a bunny and a chicken holding Easter baskets. And then I saw a rabbit dressed like Al painting giant eggs with some familiar Al pictures on them. Man, I don't know what was in that stuff, but when I came to, I had all the inspiration I needed. So regardless, I hope you guys like these pics. And until the next time we chat, you guys have a safe, healthy, and happy Easter. And here's hoping the Easter Bunny brings you guys that autobiography you asked for on Airline Amy. Well, see you later. Oh, wait a minute. One more thing. Almost forgot. Frank, if you're listening, the Easter Bunny told me to tell you, stop handing out colored Brussels sprouts to the kids. It's eggs. Easter eggs. You give the kids chocolate-covered Easter eggs on Easter Sunday, you idiot. Seriously, do I have to spell everything out for you? Oy. Okay, well, that's it from me. Ciao, dudes.
Chris, thank you so much for this amazing call and this incredible artwork. You've really outdone yourself. I mean, you drew Dave as a bunny and me as a rooster. Does it get any better than that?
These are incredible pictures.
I don't think it's officially a holiday without a special drawing gift from Chris, the cartoon-loving geek from Canada.
Chris, thank you so much for these drawings. Yeah, Ethan mentioned I'm a bunny, and it somehow looks exactly like me. And Ethan, you're a rooster, and it looks exactly like you. I don't know, Chris, how you do this is incredible. Every single time you blow my mind with the artwork that you send us.
Oh, it's so great. And then Weird Al's there as a bunny rabbit, and there's Easter eggs painted with Yankovic paint, and oh, it's so great. We did post this over on our group over at group.2000inch.com, as well as on our social media profiles if you haven't seen it yet. So definitely check it out, and check it out again if you did already see it, and see if you can catch all of the references, or Dave, dare I say, Easter eggs, that Chris, the cartoon-loving geek from Canada, included in this amazing drawing.
Yeah, Chris really went meta with this one. He literally put Easter eggs in the Easter eggs. Well, from all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, a huge thank you to you, Chris, for the amazing Easter drawing, and we hope you had a pretty stinking majestic Easter.
This episode is brought to you in part by Discover Darwin, promoting tourism in Darwin, Minnesota. Not only is historic Darwin, Minnesota beautiful, it's also safe from flying tarantula attacks.
Are you tired of people throwing live tarantulas at you?
Yes, I hate that.
Well then, Darwin, Minnesota might just be the place for you.
Oh, really? Please, do go on.
Darwin, Minnesota is located in Meeker County, and unlike nearby Hennepin County, does not have politicians that allegedly throw live tarantulas at you.
So are you saying if I rent a space in Darwin, Minnesota because I need a quiet space to study for the California bar exam, my housemate won't allegedly blast loud Christian music, bang pots and pans, scream, and toss a live tarantula and various other items down the stairs at me?
Well, I can't promise that, but there are no documented incidents of that happening in Darwin, Minnesota.
That can't be good for the tarantula.
It certainly is not.
So visit Darwin, Minnesota on your next arachnid-free expedition. Discover Darwin, more than just the twine ball. And after you visit Darwin, Minnesota, be sure to attempt to visit www.discoverdarwin.biz.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast is brought to you absolutely free thanks to our incredible sponsors, Burrito, Wizard Burger, our very own Jackson Scoggins, Discover Darwin, and our very own Kenneth Crazy Ken Gwinnett. Our podcast is also supported by everyone else in our Patreon family, with special thanks to our very own close personal friend level Patreon supporters, Dana B. and Beaker, Adriana Banana Yugovich, Allison, Casey Killingsworth, Zeb, Kev Mesick, Blair, Matt T., Zach Casper, Scotto Brothers, Ajax, Javier, Ron, UH Jeff, Bradley KM. Also thanks to Red State Update, Spunky Siren, Trevor Son, Richard B., Dave Canyon, and everyone else in our pretty stinking majestic Patreon family.
If you enjoy our Weird Al podcast as heard in the Weird Al Yankovic story commentary track, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/2000inch. There are awesome benefits like getting your name read on the podcast, your own private RSS feed, which gives you early access to each and every upcoming bonus episode, and the self-satisfaction of doing something important with your otherwise pitiful, meaningless existence. And also don't forget to check out our official merchandise over at shop.2000inch.com. All proceeds from purchases go directly towards supporting our fine podcast.
We love hearing from our listeners and other Weird Al fans, so make sure you join our Facebook community over at group.2000inch.com, and be sure to visit our Discord server for even more riveting Weird Al and Red Rump the Goody related conversations. You can find both of those linked on our website, as well as information about past episodes and guests over at 2000inch.com or weirdalpodcast.com.
Keep up on new episodes, podcast news, and events by following at 2000inch on Facebook, Threads, and Instagram. And be sure to subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. Not only does subscribing help the podcast, the next time you and your housemate have an alleged argument, your housemate will not throw a live tarantula down the stairs at you and instead invite you up for tea and crumpets.
Plus, we also love it when we receive voicemail via our official patent-pending 27-hour-a-day podcast hotline, 347-SPATULA. That number is 347-772-8852. Give it a call or a text, and you might even hear your message in a future episode.
From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, we'd like to thank Dr. Demento, Sulu, Christopher Bay, special guest Jackie Rossi, Jeff Morris, the Demented Music Database at dmdb.org, Johnny O'Hearn, Jason Alchill, Chris the Cartoon Loving Geek from Canada, Will King, Jackson Scoggins, Jackson's dad, John Katz, Alexis Adams, Alicia Bonviri, Zeb Lemke, Zero G Band, Titan Nerdy the Film and the Burlesque Troupe, Jonathan Ruane, Ludacris Laurie and Dr. Mike, Isaiah Ferguson, Ajax, Matt Horn, Mike Lands of Fame, Binko Brewing, Austin, Jace, and Kendra from Needle Juice Records, Bill Larkin, Carla Albright, Carrot Top, Chuck, Devo Spice, Dino Mike, Insane Ian, Power Salad, Shoebox, Steve Goody, The Great Luke Ski, Tony Goldmark, Patton Oswalt, Brian Husky, Johnny Pemberton, Amanda Cohen, Marissa Simonetti, Matthew Brazzi, Mike Sultan, Summer Woods, Penn Gillette, Matt Donnelly, Colin Mockery, Brad Sherwood, Rob Kuttner, Suzanne Yankovic, Airline Linda, Chloe, and our very own UHF New Sarah, Kenneth Gwinnett, Claire Walsh, and Mike Minnick.
Thank you to the Grammy Award-winning Jim Kimo West for our incredible podcast theme song, and thank you to Weird Al Yankovic, as this podcast probably would not exist without him. Thank you also to John Bermuda Schwartz, Steve J., Ruben Valtiera, Jay Levy, and the irreplaceable Joe Jaffa. And a big thank you to all of you, our loyal listeners, subscribers, Patreon supporters, and sponsors, and everyone who makes this podcast possible. Be sure to tune in next episode for part 3 of our interview with Mike Sultan.
Thank you for choosing Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast. And until next time, remember to gill and chill, keep listening to Weird Al, and stay cheesy.
Ethan, that rubber duck that Isaiah gave you, did you give it a name?
Well, yes. At first, I asked him to name it for me, though.
Why did you say at first?
Well, Isaiah said I should name it Montag.
Why Montag?
Well, that's why I said it was at first.
Good call, good call. So what did you end up going with?
Well, of course, the only name appropriate for a duck this great.
Donald?
Better.
Darkwing?
Nope.
Scrooge Mick?
Dave?
You named him Dave? Aww.
No, I named him Bruce.
Typical.
That was Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, episode 255-inch.
We partied like it was 1941.
I don't know what that voice was.
I don't know where you're going with that, but